A local family is spreading awareness about childhood cancer after they snapped a photo of their youngest daughter and noticed something was not right. Eyewitness News reporter Roxy Bustamante has their story.
Celia is an energetic and funny 3-year-old who loves playing with her big sister. But this strong warrior has been battling cancer since she can remember.
It was January 13th, I'll never forget.
Celia was 5 months old when her mother noticed a glow in her eye after snapping a picture. 2 weeks later, they met with an eye specialist.
She's diagnosed with retinoblastoma, which basically means she has a tumor growing on her retina.
It is the most common type of eye cancer in children.
From the moment I took that picture, I knew that there was something wrong, and just to have that answer and just be like, okay, now what are we gonna do about it?
Going down a road that the family has already been down before. Her husband was previously diagnosed with a rare skin cancer.
I've been in remission for a few years. I still get treatments, but it's, nothing compared to what my daughter endures. So.
But in Celia's case, her diagnosis was not hereditary. She went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy to shrink the tumor, but more than 2 years later, it is still there.
Once she reaches 5, once the retina stops growing, I think the chance of it recurring goes down dramatically, but she will still have to be monitored for the rest of her life.
According to the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, only about 4% of the federal government research funding goes to childhood cancer. Lauren says more needs to be done to help children like Celia fight and beat cancer.
Help us save our kids. Help us save your kids and your grandkids, and just help us spread the awareness.
Roxy Bustamante, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.